Now, I'd like to discuss something called singing in the bowl, which we will understand what the bowl is, and to do that, we have to go through the whole process of getting to the bowl. So once we've established sighing, we just did, I did one tape before in sighing, and I just finished another one, and if you can get the idea that you sigh, then you can sigh pretty much anywhere. And remember, we haven't given up breath stops. The breath stops that we use, if we make that third, what I call the third move, remember a breath stop is pa, ba, and then there's a third move. And the real breath stops do not leak. The paper does not move. Remember? So I'm going to go like this. It moves on the first one to show what we should not do, and then we fix it on the second one. On the third one, we convert to a soft style, or we convert to a sighing method. So let's see what happens. If I do this, we're doing on the first breath stop's going to be on my lips. Ready? Here we go. Ooh. Maybe this way's better. I got to find, we got bright sunshine for once here in Seattle. It happened once before when we'll make a videotape. That's so good. How's this? Ha-ha. Gotta stay within that window there, it's so bright. Alright, so here we go. Remember, it's in three moves. Pa, one. Ba, two. And then we do our big soft style in the same direction that we went when we made the second move. It's a little bit unclear, but you go pa, and then you make this move. And all of these moves that stop the breath are all toward the body or into the body. So if I go pa, ba, now the next time I'm going to move it's to stay on the same plane, the same level. So I go pa, ba, ah, and we're going to try to get this clear, and then I'll show you what singing in the bowl means, okay? Here we go. Pa, ba, ah, pa, ba, ah, so I continued this movement, right? Really until I stopped singing. I continued that movement. I stayed on the same level. I started here, pa, then I went here to stop it, and on this movement is on this level, so I continued it and went like that, right? And that's usually with the breath stop on the lips. Now we can do the breath stop in the back of the neck, like this. Pa, pa, ah, right? So you want to, if those of you that have to sing some really big music, this is really, I think, crucial to a healthy voice and staying healthy over many years of singing. I mean, I'm 85 years old, I'm still singing. And I sing pretty much all day, every day, and as long as the breath, Richard Tucker used to say, see, the voice does nothing, the breath does everything. And that's what I'm basically doing. I'm trying to make my breathing do all the work. Now, let's say I do it straight up. I go pa, I'll bring it back toward the body, pa, and stop the breath right on the top of my skull, on the inside, and then I continue downwards into my body because this is the level, this is the angle I'm working on. So I go pa, pa, ha, and I go into the body. And the paper doesn't move. See? This is straight up. Pa, this is back down. Ba, and this is into the body. So before we're finished, we've got just about every angle there can be that we know of. And you should be able to do them all, anytime, anywhere, and on any theater that you get up to sing in, you should be able to do these things. Right? All right, so the next one, right, after this one, will be right here in the third eye. Pa, pa, pa. So now we're on this level again, I mean this angle again, straight back, but we're much higher. We're up here now, we're in the forehead. And this is what they used to call the true mask. This was the false mask. All this down here, it's just nasal cavity. Caruso said never sing to the nasal cavity, right? Well, that's the whole mistake people often make. They think that this is the resonance, and it's not. Anything that's nasal mixes with the orchestra and doesn't carry well. So you have to be very careful about doing things up in the nose. If you do, you've got to stop it and keep it going this way. But anyway, we'll do this one right now. So here we go, third out. Pa, pa, ah. Go to the tip of the nose. Pa, pa, ah, no. You understand how I kept going from here and I ended up singing those high notes and everything in the back of my neck somewhere. I'm pulling through my neck. It's going out into the cosmos somewhere. I don't know where it goes, but I know I don't stop. I keep going, right? All right, now there's the upper lip. Richard Tucker sang this way, as a matter of fact. Great singer. A lot of singers did. Franco Corelli and Trimble used to sit around doing this all the time, pulling the lip down. No, you pull the lip down like this. No, out and down. Listen to Schwarzkopf, was her whole technique. That's all she knew. What she called the elephant's trunk. She did this. Down, constantly to the side. What do? I do that. Pa, pa, la 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 la. Right? From there we go to Aureliano Percilet's famous stopping in the mouth hole, which I do this. And then I stop the breath right in the middle of my mouth in midair. Stop it right there. So I go pa, pa, right? And of course he was the Otello, the dramatic tenor. Before the Second War, all during the war, and after the war, he was the superstar of La Scala. And a fabulous career and a fabulous voice. My teacher heard him in La Scala saying he nearly blew the roof off. You couldn't believe how big the voice was. But you know, he's got a built-in trumpet there. What can you say? All right, now the next one is where the tongue makes contact with the lower lip, right here. Believe it or not, it becomes a breath stop. Pa, pa, got it? You just sing every word like this. Right? So it sort of takes care of your diction. Diction becomes very clear. Like having a megaphone back there. All right, then from here, we jump down to the sternal notch, it's called. This thing right here. So you go, pa, pa, ah. Now let's check out the angle. I'm going, ba, ba. What is the angle? Sometimes this angle can get confused. I'll end up going like this, when I really should be going like this. So here we go. Pa, pa, la 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 la. I'm pulling. I'm pulling. Is that the word? You'll have to find out the word for yourself. I keep going. Whatever you want to call this. I'm here, then I go there. Is that a pull or is it just a go? What is it? What is it? You got to feel it for yourself. Words are sometimes totally wrong or totally inadequate or not what people are really looking for. But Mario Delmonico had a fantastic career singing everything right here. And he taught me to do it. And I've used it many times in big operas, and he never had a vocal problem. In fact, he died at 67 of kidney disease, and he did a concert 2 weeks before he died, and his voice was in perfect shape. La, pa, pa, la, la. Got it? The next one is the sternum. Very common. For years and years, a lot of singers sang here. Great singers. U.C. Berling was the best male singer I ever heard, and he sang here. Zinka Milnoff was the best female singer I ever heard, and she sang here. So it's been used by a lot of singers, and they called it, funny enough, a breath stop, and it was right in the center of the sternum. Tetrasini used it. If you go down the list of some of the greatest singers in history, probably a third of the great singers probably all use this one, right? So I've got pa, pa, pa. emphasizing enough, but I should. The one we're really after here and the one we're doing here, and we're letting all this up so that we can do that third move. 1, 1, 2, 3. We want the third move. Totally free, throatless, jawless, and tongueless, absolutely doing nothing except drawing in a very particular way. We did the sighing. I did the sighing a while ago in what I call soft style. This is from a hard style. Pa, pa. I'm using muscles. Pa, and I'm holding it there. And then I let go of those muscles and I move soft style all the way back. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm doing it. That one was right here. This one right here. See? Pa, pa, pa. Got it? See? Where is it? And why is it so easy? Huh? So all you have to do is got it? That was here. But soft style, back and down. Or back anyway. All right, now let's do the one that's on the solar plexus. So she's right here. And on the hard style, I was showing how you get a reaction. Ba, 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 and you maintain the posture. Well, let's see what happens now. Here we go. I'm gonna do it here. Pa, ba. Stop the breath there. Ba. There's the posture. Now I'm gonna do a big long soft style. Straight through my body and straight out the back there somewhere. So I'm going to go, pa, pa, ah. So your job now is to go, la, right? So, you know, that's it easy, guarda Marte mille come lì Parigi. Penso quel padrone di vecchio camminante ingannatore che vivevano some gran signor. If you keep it going, you know, then the residents will stay up here. All right, now what's below that? Here we go. Let's get down there. I can't even bend this cotton picket thing low enough, right? So let's see if I can back up, back up. All right, now, after, where was I? I got lost. I forgot which one I did. I did this one, so was solar plexus. Then I'm going to do this one. Here's the navel. Pavarotti sang his navel. Pa, 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 no. Wonderful way to sing. And he was a great singer. And what are you doing, though? What are you doing when you almost come unattached? You sort of disconnect so you can get free and get all the way, get this thing running out in its opposite direction. Wherever I started, pa, I go in the opposite direction, pa, and then I go, la, la, la. And that's the navel, see? La, mi tu più non dormi, o giorni belli. And all I'm doing is doing this through that level and keeping it going. I don't know where it's going. Into the cosmos, that's it, right? Then you have the famous Caruso psi position, which is between the navel and the pubic bone, in the abdomen. So we'll do this. Pa, pa. Now I've got to stop there. Now I'm going to go from there and I'm going to go straight through and see what happens. Pa, pa, boy, I'm flipping today. Pa, pa, what do you think of that one? What can you do? I fixed my phlegm problem by getting behind. If you think the phlegm is here or somewhere, then you got to get behind it, right? And maybe you'll have a chance. Who knows? But that is a very, as you imagine, Caruso sang that way apparently, and it was just drove people mad and went crazy for it. And I learned from Helga Roswanger something called the chimpanzee, which you go... That whole exercise is to develop this ability that I'm talking about. You know, if you have a voice and then you can double it or triple it or quadruple it and power it, which is what these great singers did, you figure that they all started very light. Helga Roswanger told me he started off as a tenorino. He had the tiniest, lightest little lyric tenor, and people were worried he'd be able to be a singer because his voice was too small to be heard in the theater, particularly or an orchestra. And he kept doing yoga 3 hours a day for 55 years, and he turned into probably the big historical canon of Europe, because everybody said he had the biggest voice and the best. Roswanger told me that Roswanger had the greatest voice he ever heard. Now, Melchior wasn't bad. It was #1 held in tenor in history, so that's a pretty good compliment, right? So, I mean, take your pick. But anyway, this... Oh, come on, get rid of it. Oh, du can sein angeli, servente pura. See, I'm pulling back like crazy, and it keeps everything off of my voice, so my voice doesn't get punished because I want to sing bigger. We had some fantastic voices along the way who all got into vocal trouble and lost their voices because the breath started turning around that way. If you want to sing forward, you have to do what they call stop breathing. You're underwater, and you want to conserve your breath so you can stay underwater. You don't want to start blowing bubbles, so you hold your breath. And when you blow a bubble, you go. So if I do that, I go, la, 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 la. That is a stopped exhalation. La. If I do an inhalation, I stop the inhalation, I go, la, la. Got it? And now guess what? We're getting near the bowl now. Anything you might say below the abdominal area is going to be in the bowl. So you start with the perineum and you go, pa, 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 la, la. Because I went straight down and then had to bring it straight up to stop it, I continue straight up with my third movement. And I end up soft styling upward. La, la. I think it's good to have so much phlegm that I've got today. You normally you would stop and cough it up and clear it up or something, but maybe this is the way to show people how to sing if they're drowning in phlegm, like some of us do once in a while. You got to get sort of behind it and under it, and then it's still there, but nobody can hear it. So now let's see. Now we are now arriving in the bow. If we do the perineum, we go straight down. We are in the bottom of the bow. The bow's like this. You're built like this, and you got to figure. You got a front and a back to you, and you got sides, and you got a curve like this at the bottom. Well, why not just stop your breath in the bow then? But first you've got to identify this, what I call third move. And we started way up here. Pa, pa, ra. And now we're way down here. Pa, pa, ra, ra. Got it? Ein Spiel für dies will der Vater. Ich fänd es ein höchster Not. Right? Lord, aber sempre a Dio, Santa Memoria. People use it mostly for big singing, but there are ways to do it where you go down. If you're really slick, you can do it in, let me check a pitch. Let me get a pitch. Let's bring that. Okay, so I'm going to go. Una furtiva lagrima negli occhi suavi sfundo. So I'm in the bowl, but I'm able to sing something lighter. And I don't know if they'd ever would hire me for that. No, really, it's not, your voice is too heavy. It's not the right kind of voice for that. But I always felt like I was a lyric tenor and I could do that. But once you use this third move, your voice starts fattening up. There's no doubt about it. Una furtiva lagrima. Where is that? If you do a crescendo, you should keep it in the bow. Try to keep it what I call in the bowl, right? And then there's the tailbone, right? By this time I don't have to do so much. Pop, pop, I should know now what it is and where it is and how it's done, and I should have that location and process. And if I can get that working, I can sing pretty much anything, and did. I was always getting offered Siegfried and Tristan and Tannhäuser, these big operas, and Lawrence Melchior told me, don't sing them, you don't have the right kind of voice, that you're really a lyric tenor, and you're not a Helden tenor. They kept calling me a young Helden tenor, or literally in German, the terminology is Jugendlicher Held, youthful hero. Which is, believe it or not, like Melchior said, oh, you can do those easy ones. Do the easy ones. You know, Meitersinger, Lohengrin, Parsifal, those, you know, those, Fliegende Holländer, you know, I said, we think the Meitersinger 5.5 hours long is the easy one. Oh, yes, that is nothing. That's nothing. Once you get warmed up about up to 4th hour, then you feel great. So, but the idea is, the other 4 are written so dramatically, so heavily in the middle voice, and you have a monster orchestra playing all the time. And you probably, I mean, I got a pianist and learned them, just for the heck of it, I learned them on the piano, but to sing them over the orchestration, you think, well, you'll never be heard, and it's probably true. You know, you won't be heard unless you got a sort of a true baritonal quality in your voice. And even Melchior used a reinforced support method. He went, Hallo, hallo, did that all the time. Ein Schwert verhieß mir der Vater, ich fänd es in höchster Not, offen aus seelischen Feindes Haus. But you see, he's definitely singing in the bowl, though. But he had a voice like, you know, much bigger than mine. He was much bigger than me, too. I weighed 220 pounds and 6 feet tall, and I felt like a midget when I stood next to him. You know? He wasn't just 6'6", which he was, but he was tremendously big this way. So just around, I don't know how much he weighed, but probably 375, 380. I mean, I weighed 220, and I was like flat and thin looking next to it. Like, all right, so that's it. Then there's the tailbone. That's the way Leonie. That perineum business was Birgit Nilsson, and what's her name? Leonie Rieseneck, who had the second biggest voice in the world. She sang on the tip of her tailbone. See, so now you're still in the bowl, but you're on the back side of it down here, something in the corner, and you go la. See what I mean? So I would do something like, you know, I don't know. I really can remember some of the text. I just draw blank all the time. E con unirsi all'ultima dell'ingas, la corona cingere col vilo. Fu una impresa in un carcere nacqui, meglio che nel deserto, sol, fi, do, vergognola, e mia regale stirpe. Say to me, i miei barandi. I'm too high. Dad, give it. I miei barandi sognano nel trono, e li destò la scura, quando fine avran le mie sventure. And that's just the beginning, folks. That's another one, 4.5 hours long. Anyway, I'm a little bit older now than I used to be, and I just can't yell quite as easy as I used to. I don't know what happened. At a certain point, it stopped sounding like good singing. It started sounding like yelling. So, maybe it's because it is. I don't know. But I know that if you can get this saying, Papa, i miei parenti sognano trono, e di destò le scure, a quando fine avran. You just have to go, pa, pa, and keep it going. Now this is only for those of you who have enough voice to need to do that to maintain your career, right? There's an old saying, sing the lyric music dramatically and the dramatic music lyrically. And you're supposed to sing as easily as possible all the time. And how hard is it? When I was younger, this la was easier. I really didn't have to pull as hard as I do now. Papa la, see? So you sort of, if you're going to use it, you have to give enough to be able to use it, and part of that is strength, and the kind of strength we need comes strictly from breathing. You breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe. You know, Gili played saxophone. Fritz Wunderlich played, we're talking about 30 years of saxophone. Fritz Wunderlich played French horn for 30 years. Nikolai Gyarov played trombone and clarinet. Giovanni Martinetti played clarinet. I mean, the list is endless. You know, Caruso was a deep diver, a free diver, dived to the bottom of the Bay of Naples. It's about 100 feet deep, and spent his time down there looking for old relics. I mean, everybody's. Corelli was an ocean swimmer. Kirsten Foxtel was a competitive swimmer. Joan Sutherland and what's her name? Nellie Melba were ocean swimmers. I mean, we just go down the list. Even I played tuba and the big harmonica. It's like you find all this exaggerated breath activity among singers that are able to sing bigger repertoire. So you have to now decide right now, are you going to start playing the saxophone and doing yoga every day? Get a rowing machine, swim every chance you get, see? And if you do, then you develop a competitive energy in your breathing, and you can sing, I mean, let's face it. I mean, I was singing Traviata once in Germany, in Darmstadt, and I was going, Parigio cara, noi lasceremo, right? And these two guys came from Hanover, and they were in the performance, and they came backstage, and they said, we're doing a young Siegfried and Tannhäuser next year. Would you sing them for us? I said, wait a minute. They happen to be two of the big four. Those are two of the worst ones. Well, I said, didn't you hear me singing Traviata? What was that? She said, oh, but your voice is so big in the back of the theater, we think you wouldn't have any trouble with it. Well, I know I learned it with piano, and then I went to the theater to hear it, and I couldn't hear anybody, especially the tenor, man. Well, you can say, well, at least he got paid, but is that what you want to do? You want to get paid? It's a good way to do it if you're very careful. It doesn't matter if anybody hears you or not, because they don't have anybody else. They got to have somebody, right? So what are you going? You know, if I go something like, now is that enough for the Tannhäuser Orchestra? Am I going to be able to compete with the orchestra? I don't think so. You know, you got, what's his name? You got Zeke going, oh, ho, 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 hi, ho, hi, ho, hi, blase Balk, bloody Lord, and on and on and on for hours. And nobody could hear you since the first 5 minutes. So I thought, oh, well, here's the white flag, guys. Hey, this is the white flag. See this? I'm waiting to float. I surrender. Anyway, I hope that we got a little bit. I wanted you to understand how to use pa, pa, ah. I think that's much more my natural voice right there. You got to sing something like, stelle all'alba vincerò. I think that is much more. Who knows? Maybe even that too big for me. You know? Who knows? I heard Corelli sing that any number of times, but when he sang with Birgit Nilsson in the duet in the third act, you couldn't tell he was singing. You couldn't hear him, and he had a big voice, and you couldn't hear him singing with her when she was singing to Annihilation. Right? All right. Good, guys. I hope you liked that one. That was an interesting one anyway. If you learn to do the all the side, like if you do the sliding back and down side, it's very much like that. Pa, pa, okay? Okay, enough confusion. Bye.